all these sort of varieties for you, that is varieties of devotional service. And even in this rare opportunity of being in a different country apart from one's own country, and also in this crucial situation too. So I thank them also from the bottom of my heart, that in spite of being still just in my initial stages of entering rather into Krishna consciousness, still they have really instructed me to really serve you all. So I really beg you that please let us all together today relish this particular topic, which is actually a most confidential topic, rather, or regarding the 12 Mahajanas. And let us really relish it together, because anything relished in the association of the Vaishnavas is becoming, rather, it becomes all the more tasty. So, you know, let us so start. So we'll first pay our humble obeisances to all the acharyas who are there in our parampara system, and also to all our guiding devotees, because of whom we are really today able to even think about associating with the Vaishnavas, and as well as be able to chant the most confidential prayers in this particular age of Kali Yuga. And also keeping this in mind that we are going to hear something, so when we hear, there is every chances that our mind really goes wayward. So it is our own responsibility that for our own purification we hear well, and so that we'll be able to guide our family as well as people who may come for shelter tomorrow towards us, just like how Suguna Mataji and Prabhu is doing. So let us just pay humble obeisances to our spiritual master. Om Ajnana Timram Dasya Gyananjana Shalakaya.
चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः.
So today, like we are going to have a discussion about one of the great Mahajanas, whose daughter's disappearance day, rather, we had just yesterday or the day before. And actually Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that it is not possible that we can achieve him, because he is way too far for us and he is way too difficult for us. So therefore he himself tells us a shortcut way, rather a shortcut. Why? Because to achieve the Lord is out of question, rather, for us, because we are too conditioned. So the shortcut which the Lord has told us is to go via the parampara, or the disciplic succession, as we say it in English. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, evam parampara praptam. So he says a key word there, that is praptam. To achieve him, it is easier that we approach the parampara system or the disciplic succession. So in this case, if we approach, we can understand, that is, if we approach the parampara, then, or rather our acharyas, so what happens is that we really get to know or seek the truth. And what is the truth? The truth about who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. Or forget even that particular philosophy, at least the truth of what is the benefit, or what is the usefulness, or how useful we can make our own human life. So in this way, if we accept the unbroken, totally not broken, the unbroken chain of disciplic succession of spiritual masters, then we can also be one of the seers of truth. That is, we can also get at least an element of what is the truth of human life, or what is actually beneficial for us to do in our human life. So these acharyas, or these paramparas, what they do is that they can see the truth. It is quite evident, just like we can see each other. For them, they can see the truth, but we are not like that. We cannot see the truth. So from their lotus lips, the seeds of bhakti get spread. And these seeds of bhakti, if it happens that it enters into our ear holes, then these seeds get into or enter into our own heart. And from there, as it is actually, the heart is actually having a very good soil that it can really cultivate or rather grow these particular seeds into plants. That is what our acharyas called as Bhakti Lata creeper rather. So this creeper, as and when we do our devotional services, let it be hearing, let it be chanting, you are watering those seeds. And the soil is anyway fertile because of the mercy of the acharyas. And this seed, as it fructifies itself, it becomes a big plant and it reaches the same lotus feet of those acharyas, who in turn grow it more and more. Because of their causeless mercy, it grows more and more. And this plant reaches Golokadham, or our permanent house, our permanent residential palace. So for this, actually, we need the mercy or even the knowledge of the acharyas. Now, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in various verses also, it is, and especially in the 6th canto, 3rd chapter, I think 20 to 21 verses, Yamaraj himself, who is Yamaraj? He is the final person whom we meet, when we leave this body. And not a very good person to meet for us though. But he is also one of these Mahajanas. So he himself proclaims, or he himself declares in the Bhagavatam 6th canto itself, that there are 12 acharyas, stating from Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, like that it comes down to so many. 12 acharyas who are actually the authorities of dharma, or who are the authorities of religion. So like how we have here water authority, electricity authority, and all these different authorities, same way these 12 Mahajanas are decided by the Lord and the other acharyas to be the final authorities for dharma. Now, what is dharma? What is religion? Religion or dharma is the only means for us to actually please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no other pose in it. So these are the final authorities. So they know all the loopholes and they know all the correct pathways of how every soul can really reach their supreme destination. Now, taking one amongst these, that is one of the acharyas or one of the authorities amongst these, so I am told to glorify by Prabhu and Mataji about King Janaka. Now, King Janaka is actually a very, I do not have the adjective to it, but actually a very extraordinarily interesting personality. His life sketch and everything is quite interesting and quite unknown to most of us. So there was once, this particular aspect or this particular pastime of King Janaka, rather his past life, has been mentioned in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the 13th chapter. Okay, this 9th canto is actually fully dedicated to Lord Ramachandra. So King Janaka, so what happened is that there was a king who was called as Maharaj Nimi. Okay, now Maharaj Nimi, he wanted to perform a very grand sacrifice for the benefit of all the humanity. So he was actually a very considerate king and wanted to do best for his citizens. So for the benefit of his citizens, he wanted to perform a very great fire sacrifice. Now for fire sacrifice, Brahmanas are required. So therefore he thought King Vashishta, sage Vashishta is actually the best for performing this particular fire sacrifice. So what happened is that he went and invited sage Vashishta Muni to come and please perform the sacrifice for him. So sage Vashishta, he said that already Vashishta has already committed to King Indra for some other sacrifice. So my dear King Nimi, you please wait. I'll come back and then I will perform your sacrifice. Okay, so till then Nimi Maharaj had to wait. Now see, Indra is where in the heavenly planetary systems. And Nimi Maharaj is in the Marthyaloka or in the Bhuloka where we are staying. So the time difference from the heavenly planet and the material world is so much. It is really way different. So now by the time Vashishta Muni goes there, performs the sacrifice and then comes here, by the time the earthly years or the earthly planetary system, rather earthly years would have passed a lot. So King Nimi Maharaj, he was thinking, I think that he was thinking rather that maybe King Indra would have paid a lot of Lakshmi towards Vashishta Muni. So that is why Vashishta Muni is giving that a particular King Indra's sacrifice more importance. Okay, then I will look for some other Brahmanas. Fine. So Vashishta Muni, he went to perform sacrifice for King Indra, and here Nimi Maharaj had arranged some other Brahmana to perform the fire sacrifice, which was for the benefit of humanity in general. Now this sacrifice was being performed, and after some time Vashishta Muni came back. So when Vashishta Muni came back, he saw that Nimi Maharaj had already, arranged for the sacrifice, and it is being performed, and so therefore Vashishta Muni felt, insulted. So Vashishta Muni, what he did is that he cursed Nimi Maharaj at that very time, that may you leave your body at this very second. Okay. Now Nimi Maharaj is also not an ordinary soul. He is actually having a great tapobal. Rather by his meditation and by his other austerities, he is also a person who is having great tapobal. So what he did, he was thinking, in spite of being a Brahmana, why is this Vashishta Muni getting angry and offended? So Nimi Maharaj was also taken aback, and then he also counter cursed Vashishta Muni. The same curse what he got, he gave it back to Vashishta Muni, that may you also leave your body at this very particular time. So, okay, cursings and counter cursings and all this was happening. So therefore, both of them, they fell down dead. Okay, but Vashishta Muni, since he is a very staunch Brahmana, and his tapobala is even more than Maharaj Nimi, so he could revive and he could come back to his life. So he continued being Vashishta Muni again. But Nimi Maharaj, he cannot come back to life. He didn't have that much of tapobal. But at the same time, the Brahmanas in Nimi Maharaj's court, they were thinking, now see, Nimi Maharaj is left, now who will protect the kingdom? There is nobody to protect the kingdom as capacitated as Nimi Maharaj. So therefore, the Brahmanas in Nimi Maharaj's court, what they did is that they requested the demigods to send back Nimi Maharaj. Let him not go to the back to Godhead, that is, go back to his original abode. Rather, let him come back and take care of the country. So the demigods, by their great potency, they brought back Nimi Maharaj. Now, Nimi Maharaj was actually a very self-realized soul. When he was brought back to the material planetary system, or rather to his kingdom, he really expressed his total amount of disinterest, that he is not interested to be back again in the body of Nimi Maharaj. Rather, he was on his way back to Godhead, or about to reach Goloka, that at that time, because of the potency of the demigods, they brought him back. So this was totally unacceptable to Nimi Maharaj, and he said he doesn't want again to come back to the material planetary system. He just wants to go back home, back to Godhead. So his statements is very confirmedly said in the Srimad Bhagavatam also, in this particular chapter and canto. So he very well declared, I do not want to be here. You can arrange for some other king. I want to go back home, and you can do whatever you want to do. Okay, so the Brahmanas, when they saw this concern of Nimi Maharaj, they said, fine, okay, if you want to go back home, you can please proceed on your journey. And what they did is that, with the body of Nimi Maharaj, they churned this body with the proper mantras. Now, Brahmanas in those days, especially, in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, etc., the Brahmanas in those days, they were highly capacitated to do such activities of via mantras to actually rejuvenate or reincarnate a soul. They had this capacity, and we know that also in the 4th canto of how Prithu Maharaj came from King Vena. Those who have studied the Bhagavatam will be able to know that. So what happened is that now these Brahmanas, by means of proper mantras, they churned the body of Nimi Maharaj, and from that body came out a king who was called as Janaka. Now, this Janaka is not the Janaka whom we are going to speak about, or rather whom we are supposed to speak about. This Janaka was actually the 444 father of the original Janaka, who was the father of Mother Sita. So the Janaka who got, or rather who is born now from Nimi Maharaj, after him, so many other Janakas, all the kings who were following in their dynasty were all Janakas only, were all named as King Janaka only. Now the last Janaka who was born, he was actually the father of Mother Sita. That is the original ruler of the kingdom of Mithila. And this particular Janak Maharaj, he was very humble and he was well read in the scriptures. He was also quite qualified about the various subject matters of how to perform proper sacrifices and how the citizens should follow their particular prescribed duties. So all this knowledge he was there, he was having. Not only that, he was a person who was actually a very true Vaishnava. Rather, the one of the most qualities of a Vaishnava is Paradukha Dukhi. I know we see somebody like a Vaishnava, if we see somebody very sad or very, in a very desperate condition, his heart really flows out to go and help him out. So that is the basic nature of a Vaishnava, which is Paradukha Dukhi. Of course, it is due to the merit of his devotional services. It is due to the merit of his understanding the real true aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19 and text 9 to 10, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that one of the qualities of why King Janaka had or could be one of the authorities of, or rather one of the 12 Mahajanas, is because King Janaka was the direct disciple of Parashara Muni. Now Parashara Muni is who? Parashara Muni is that personality who had actually gave the qualities, or rather gave the characters of who actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. What are the characters? There are 6 characters which he has mentioned. So we'll not go into the detail of that. So anyway, so Parashara Muni was who was the father of Vyasadeva, who, due to whom we are having all these scriptures, today Srimad Bhagavatam and all these different scriptures, was Vyasadeva. Vyasadev's father was Parashara Muni. This Parashara Muni was the direct disciple, this Parashara Muni was a direct guru of Janaka Maharaj. And mostly, maybe, I don't know if you all have seen this Mahabharata, the story of Mahabharata, wherein Satyavati was the wife, for the time being, of Parashara Muni, from whose combination actually Vedavyas has come, and all these different things. So that Parashara Muni was the guru of Janaka Maharaj. So that was the potency that Janaka Maharaj had because of the mercy of his guru. Now, Janaka Maharaj, being recognized as one of the pioneers of devotional service, or one of the main authorities of the Mahajanas, or the main Mahajana, so he executed his devotional service quite well. And what was his devotional service? He used to perform great number of sacrifices and used to chant the holy name of the Lord quite well. Now, there was a particular incident which happened, like this particular incident, it is actually mentioned in Padma Purana. Now, Padma Purana has different cantos, like how we have in Bhagavatam different cantos. In that canto, like in one of the cantos of Padma Purana, the name is Patala Khanda. That is the Patala is the nether regions, or the Patala Lokas, as we all know. So there is a particular chapter of Patala Khanda. So in this Khanda, or in this particular chapter, there is the mention of how glorious the holy name is, and what is the capacity, or rather what is the value of pure devotee association. See, we all have devotee associations. Before this lockdown and before these problems coming up, still we all used to be in devotee association. But our problem is that we never value the devotee association, because anything too easy gotten is soon forgotten. So therefore, we never used to value the devotee associations. But now we must be valuing it quite well, So Anyway, so this particular value of the devotee association as well as the glories of the holy name is what is being mentioned in this particular chapter of Patala Kanda. So there, in this particular chapter, Lord Anantadeva actually is narrating because Lord Anantadeva never stops his devotional service. So Lord Anantadeva is narrating a wonderful account of how King Janaka, he actually was visiting, or rather he visited Yamaraj, or rather he visited Patala Loka. Now how does this happen, we will see. After a very long time of material leela or of his earthly pastime, King Janaka, he thought that it is better or it is time for him to give up his body. So by the means of his yogic process or by the means of his yogic tapobal, he gave up his body. So the time that he gave up his body, since he is a Mahajan and a very pure Vaishnava, of course the air flight directly from Goloka had come, which was totally decorated, and it had taken up, or rather Janaka Maharaj sat on this particular divine airplane. Now, on his way, this particular airplane, as it was going straight to Goloka, Janaka Maharaj, because he's a very merciful Vaishnava, he actually told, or rather instructed the airplane to go to Goloka via the Patala Lokas. We know that Mother Sita also went to Vaikuntha Loka via the Patala Loka. So not because of her sins or anything, but that is the way she wanted to transcend. So same way Janaka Maharaj also, he wanted to go to Goloka via the Patala Loka. Not that he had to go into the Patala Loka and then suffer and then go back, but he just wanted to go, just take a parikrama over there and go. So on his parikrama there, when he was passing via the Patala Lokas, he could hear so much of piteous crying sounds of all the souls who were suffering there very pitifully. And the sounds were really unbearable to him. Though he was nowhere near the periphery of Patala Loka, still the sounds were too loud and it was too piteous that he couldn't tolerate it. The cries were so severe. Patala Lokas seems to be having 24 departments, and Jagai and Madai, because of their mercy, Yamaraj was building more and more departments. This is what Chaitanya Charitamrita speaks. Mataji, please correct me, okay, if I'm wrong. So in this Patala Loka, when people are roasted, when people are boiled, when people are, when they are, whatever you do on the cooking gas stove, all this was happening to those people. And even when they were told to drink hot boiling oil, all these things were going on. So piteous cries were coming out, and that cry was too hard or too heavy for Janaka Maharaj to really tolerate. So therefore what Janaka Maharaj did is that he went and stood at the gateway of this Patala Loka. Now as soon as such a pure devotee, as soon as the sun comes, the night is totally diminished off. So in the same way, as soon as Janaka Maharaj stood there, the wind which was passing via the body of Janaka Maharaj, this wind went and touched all these souls who were suffering in the various departments. So though these souls' subtle body was really suffering and painful and blood was oozing or whatever you can say, whatever bruises they were suffering, they felt so much of relief from at that very moment when the wind just did a sparsha on them or touched them. So when they were feeling a relief, they came to know that this wind is coming from the body of Janaka Maharaj. Soon they ran to Janaka Maharaj, who was on the gateway or who had just been on the borderline of the gate. They went and begged him and they were crying to him, please do not leave this Patala Loka. Please do not leave. Because of your association, because of your presence, we are feeling so much relieved. Please stay here permanently, don't go away. They begged him like that. Now, such a great soul and having so much of potency of a pure devotee, if you ask him to stay over there, what will he do? So he's paradukka dukki. He said, okay, if this is what your desire, if by my presence you are feeling some sort of a relief, okay, I will stay here permanently in Patala Loka, no problem. This is heaven for me. This is heaven for me. This is Vaikunta for me. So like that, Janaka Maharaj was pacifying those great sinners, and they were sinners to the core. So he was standing there and they were feeling relief because the body, whatever wind was passing by, they were really feeling great relief. They were feeling like, they were coming from a heated 12 o'clock sun and they were now seated in a very nice AC room. So this is what their feeling was. Now our Yamaraj, he is another Mahajana. He came, he was coming to his official duty from his house, from his residence, with the horns and everything, with the black horns. He is coming, he is entering into, the Patala Loka. And he is seeing this great personality, this pure devotee over here. He himself is feeling astonished. Then he is seeing, is this the correct place where I came? Is this really my, Patala Loka, my office abode? So he himself was taken aback. And then he was thinking, and he asked rather, Janaka Maharaj, Yamaraj asked Janaka Maharaj, Maharaj, you are such a great soul who has done so much of meritorious deed. What work do you have over here? Why are you over here? So Janaka Maharaj told him that, see, this is what all this situation happened. I was passing by and they are feeling great relief now because of my presence. So let me be here. So Yamaraj said, no, my lord, you cannot be here because this is not, this is a place only the sinners are admitted here. Like this we have heard that only pure devotees or good souls are admitted. But here Janaka Maharaj is being told by Yamaraj that no, you are not to enter over here. Your entry is restricted over here. You are not to enter over here. Only the souls. That is being said in 6.3.28 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. I will just read that particular verse and the translation of Yamaraj. Okay?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay. Anayadvam asato vimukhan mukunda padaravinda makarandara sada jasram niskinchanai paramahamsa kulera sangair jushtat grihe niraya vartmani baddha trishnan. So the translation of Yamaraj is, Paramahamsas are exalted persons who have no taste for material enjoyment and who drink the honey of the Lord's lotus feet. My dear servants, bring to me for punishment only persons who are averse to the taste of that honey, who do not associate with Paramahamsas and who are attached to family life and worldly enjoyment, which form the path to hell. This Yamaraj is telling his personal associates, whom he considers as his own sons. 6.3.28 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, this Yamaraj is telling to his own personal associates, bring me only those people who are not Paramahamsas, who are not attached to the devotees, who are only attached to worldly enjoyment, or who are only attached to the sense gratification and not to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bring me only those people. This is what Yamaraj is telling his close associates, whom he considers as his own sons. So these are the people, or rather these are the only people who are authorized to enter the hell. So why are you over here, O Janaka Maharaj? So Janaka Maharaj, with all the pitiful, his eyes was too pitiful, rather he was crying and crying. So with this pitiful eyes, Janaka Maharaj rather pleaded to Yamaraj, please Yamaraj, you please tell me how can all these souls, at least more than crores and crores might be there, how can all these souls be actually freed from this miserable abode of yours? So Yamaraj is telling, what are you telling, Janaka Maharaj? Then he was telling the list of each and every person. And that took so much of time, or so many yugas passed by that explanation itself. Just imagine Janaka Maharaj, how much of time he is spending there for all these souls. And so Yamaraj was telling, so see this person, he did this mistakes. So he has to again go through so many other departments of hell. Now he has finished only 2 departments. Again more are there. And that person, like that, he was, Yamaraj was actually speaking about each and every crores and crores of tons and tons of people, or tons and tons of sinners who were there suffering. Then after that, still Janaka Maharaj begged Yamaraj, still there is some loophole, and you know it. Please tell me, what is that way by which these people can just be forgiven in 1 second, and in a moment's time they can reach back home, back to Godhead. So what is Janaka Maharaj doing over here? Not only telling Yamaraj to forgive the sins of these crores and crores of sinners, but also that after forgiving, they should reach back home, back to their permanent place, that is back to Godhead. Yad gatvana nivartante tad dhamma paramamam, to reach to that dham. So just imagine what is the value of the pure Vaishnavas. Can we even measure it with our material scales? It cannot be possible. It is just beyond words. It is just beyond our intelligence and mind. So Yamaraj said, yes, if you desire to release them, even though these people are sinners, if you desire to release them from this particular, material abode, sickening abode, then in that case, there is a way that you have gained so much of religious merit. You have acquired so much of religious merit. How? Every day morning, when Janaka Maharaj used to wake up, at that time, he used to meditate upon the lotus feet of Lord Rama, and he used to chant the holy name of Lord Rama. So because of this particular activity or devotional service of Janaka Maharaj, he had gained so much of religious merit. It is beyond material calculation. So that religious merit, if you can dedicate or give it, just like how we put money into the account, so same way, put it into the account of these people, these crores and crores of sinners, then there is a possibility that you can remove the sins of these people and take them back home, back to Godhead. So just by means of chanting the name of Lord Rama, you have acquired so much of merit. And who is Lord Rama? He is a remover of tons and tons of sins. So this is possible in this way only, Janaka Maharaj, or else it is not possible. So you can give them your acquired merit, what all you have collected by chanting the holy name, and then they can be freed from my abode, totally free from me. So Janaka Maharaj, as soon as he got this loophole, he said, okay. So Janaka Maharaj said religiously that all these acquired merits of mine, due to which I can go back home, back to Godhead, all these merits I religiously, that is, he has acquired this from his birth, okay? Not that he just, after getting his daughter married, he acquired this. No, right from his birth, he has been doing this particular devotional activity, chanting the names of Lord Rama, and removing, and rather he is the remover of all the sins, and that way he has really hoarded his spiritual bank balance. This for within 1 second, he is really dedicating it to all these sinners and credited it into the bank balance or spiritual bank balance of all these impious people. Now, as soon as he proclaimed this particular activity, or he owed it in front of, or promised it to all these people, as soon as that was not even, he didn't finish speaking it also. He was still speaking and he was still dedicating all these religious merit to those people. That very second, that very moment, these sinners, they became totally free, and they just acquired their divine form, or they got their original form back. They thanked Janaka Maharaj for all this favor that they had achieved, and within a moment's time, they reached back home, back to Godhead, but Janaka Maharaj is still over here. So even before Janaka Maharaj could reach back home, back to Godhead, they had already, Vaikuntha planet, the aeroplane came, they acquired their bodies, and they just, that very Shanat, that very moment, they reached back home, back to Godhead. Then Janaka Maharaj and Yamaraj, they talked, and after that Janaka Maharaj slowly sat on his airplane, and then he reached there. By the time he reached there, they were already there in queue, welcoming him. So this is actually the great potency of Janaka Maharaj, that we really cannot, like that each and every Mahajana, we do not know how much of glorious merit they have achieved to actually be the authority of religion, or be the authority of dharma. Rather, be the authority in our terms, if we say, be the authority to be the right seer of devotional service, of how they could literally see the Supreme Personality face to face, and what is the icha or the desire of the Supreme Personality. Based on that, they were doing the religious services, or rather their devotional services, and had also preached to the mankind right under them of how they should become a proper human being and do their sincere services to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is actually the great value of what the holy name. So we can also do this. There are people amongst us who are not willing to take up devotional service, but if they are our very own, and if they are very close to us, then we can also give our religious merit to them, and because of that, of course, ours is not going to get shunned. We will get more and more only, because spiritual life, or rather the spiritual scheme, is such that you give more, you get more. Not like the material aspect, I have only 10 rupees, I gave my 10 rupees and I am bankrupt. Not like that. So spiritual level or spiritual scheme is something much more higher than a material concept. So therefore, what is the value of the holy name, and how, if it is through the proper authority or through the great parampara, if we follow, then it is quite easy. Now the sinners, they never went to scrutinize if this Janaka Maharaj is right or wrong, if he will give us or not. They never had a doubt on him. They had total faith on him. Their situation was very desperate, right? They had no choice but to have faith. Same way, our situation is also every time desperate. We are always in a peril, whether today is there or tomorrow it's not there. So this is our situation also. In this situation, our only helping hand is the parampara, rather is the devotees who are coming to our help, not material help, but to our spiritual help, because spiritual life is the only solution to even material problems. There is no other solution. Any other solution you find materially, that is just temporary. So we should also value this particular parampara in which we are in, that is, seek the guidance blindly seek the guidance of our Siksha Gurus, of our spiritual master, whom we are getting via our Siksha Gurus. See, it is not, it is you, actually, all of us are not authorized to get a Siksha Guru. Remember that. We have no authority because of all the sins that we have done, and all the unwanted habits and all the anarthas, kama, krodha, moha, lobha, all these, whatever we have, we are not authorized. We do not deserve, rather. That is the proper word I should actually use. We do not deserve to get a Siksha Guru. For all the deeds that we have done, we are doing and we are going to do. We do not deserve. But yet, it is the mercy of the Supreme Lord that He is giving us a chance to be associated with Siksha Gurus or with the pure devotees who are the seers of truth, who are also the experiencers of truth, who have experienced the truth. And they are not jealous, they are not very close-knit, rather not close-knit. They are not very selfish. They are, whatever they have enjoyed, whatever taste spiritually they have enjoyed, they are also giving it to us. So this we should actually value, in spite of us not being, the right, rather not having the right to enjoy them, their services, their mercy, still it is being given to us. So it is a boon in disguise for us. But we are still being under the disguise that we are not wanting to enjoy their mercy. When there is mercy, why not to enjoy? But we are not doing this. So this we should try to understand. Just like Janaka Maharaj, in our own lives also, we have so many, gurus with us. So let us take, we have faith in them and let us take their path, because they will surely not lead us to the wrong way. They will lead to that path which they have treaded, which they have experienced, which they have taken the pains, and now they have cleared the road. The thorns are totally removed. And then they are telling us to traverse along with it, along with them. So this particular aspect, we should actually, keep it in our mind. And maybe they are devotees whom we are meeting every day, every minute, every hour, and they come to our every call, but still don't take devotees, Vaishnavas for granted. Because if we take Vaishnavas for granted, then Vishnu will never give us that association again and again, more and more. Okay, so with this, I really end my humble attempt to glorify such a great soul who is Janaka Maharaj. And if there is any other additions, Prabhu and Mataji, please add to it. And the questions you can only solve.